Good evening. Welcome everyone to the Village of Royal Palm Beach Council meeting. It's Thursday, December 17th at 6:30. We are operating with another modified technical connection this evening. So if anyone out there either live streaming or watching on the channel 18, please give us feedback and let us know if we're coming across clearly. Um, Keith, are you able to hear us now?
Loud and clear. Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor.
All right. Good. Good. All right, so with that, will everyone stand, please, and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, Diane, please let the record show that all members of council are present.
Yes, Mayor, I will.
And I'd just like to say to everyone who's joining us this evening remotely, we're following the same procedures that we have been following for our virtual participation. We can take and will take public comments from anyone that's physically here um, through the normal, submitting the card or either being called upon. Anyone who wants to make a public comment virtually, please indicate so by checking the raise your hand button, and you'll be recognized, and we will give you an opportunity to make comments on items on the agenda. With that, oh, this is the people who are trying to tune in are calling me saying I can't get in. Anyway, welcome to 2020, right? We're almost done with this year, right? Not quite. Um, we go to do the reports now, and I'll start out with some update information. As usual, the third Thursday of the month is when we usually have our Transportation Planning Agency meeting, board meeting. We had one this morning. One of the items that I reported to the board on was, and I'd like to share with the council, is last week I attended a virtual meeting called the South Florida Transportation Summit, which had a cast of speakers and panels from across the country of some very knowledgeable and experienced people who have been working with transportation issues and addressing the public transportation challenges that we have. And it was very encouraging to hear their thought process, which in summary, I'm just going to say is where we've been and where I think we're trying to go with the TPA is to get our focus off of building more roads for more cars, but to come up with solutions where people won't need their car because public transportation options will be available and will be able to address their needs. And that was really kind of an underlying theme from most of the speakers. So I was encouraged to hear that. And to that end, one of the other things that happened this morning was myself and County Vice Mayor Wentworth were reappointed as chair and vice chair for the coming year, and we're looking forward to that. And with that, I shared some information with the board this morning that within the first quarter of next year, I'll be working with staff. We will be putting together a presentation for the TPA board to formally adopt and agree or have discussion on where we need to be with some of the concepts that we've been kicking around, things like the first mile, last mile concept, whether or not, how we will generate a new funding source, perhaps something that comes at the county level. What we're looking to do in that presentation is to put some reality around these concepts, kind of move it from being an abstract discussion to a reality discussion and incorporating that in our long-range planning documents and strategy, and actually figure out, all right, what are the next things we need to do to move this if we have an agreement with this with the full board, to move that forward. I plan on giving our council a preview of this before we present it, so hopefully the timing will work out that we'll be able to do that. So stay tuned, first quarter of next year. The other significant activities today was we did get a formal update, a presentation from FDOT on the status of State Road 7. To summarize it, what they've done pretty much with that project, completing that project up to North Lake, they've kind of went back to the drawing boards, and they did, in fact, redesign it, so to speak. They've made many modifications to what they were originally planning, and the focus of those modifications were to address of the many environmental concerns that have been raised by West Palm Beach. So we'll see, how West Palm Beach responds to that. They didn't have any comments on the presentation today, but certainly it was a reality check that FDOT said, you know what, we took this thing off the table, we worked the plan, we addressed some of these issues, and from what I can see, it looks like they really did a lot of work to address the concerns that were raised to make it mitigate the concerns that were raised from an environmental standpoint. They're targeting to get that contract out next year and start 2022, start actual construction to complete that project. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll continue to hear from West Palm Beach, but I was gratified to see that FDOT did in fact try to come up with a solution to address some of these issues. So.
I'm sorry, just for clarification, did you say that they are looking to put a bid out to do the extension by 2022?
2021. They want to start construction in 2022.
For the completion of, okay, thanks.
So we'll keep a close eye on that as we move forward. Okay, with that, Selena, we'll start with you.
Good evening, everyone. We had our Recreation Advisory Board meeting, and we had an update from the village engineer on our surtax. So it was included projects, the FPL pathway lighting, the lighting at Bob Marcello Park, the sporting center improvements, and road resurfacing that's constantly going on. So all those are included in it. There are several programs going on through the rec center, so the dance and yoga have started. Friday nights, we have our movie and concert nights throughout the spring. And we have our own movie screen right now. So what's nice is that we do have that ability. It's beautiful out there when they do the movie nights. Everyone's social distance, so it's great. So please.
People are complying?
They are complying. And, there's no direction needed. I think everyone's very cautious and aware of a comfort level, and they're taking it amongst themselves to social distance on their own.
As long as they're compliant, we can continue to do
Yes.
Yeah.
And please check our website, royalpalmbeach.com, for more information on all the events that we have coming up. We have the temperature scanners are up and running in the rec center and the cultural center. All must wear a mask, and there's hand sanitizer available through those. I'd like to thank all the Recreation Advisory Board members for volunteering and donating their time over the past year, as well as our sports board presidents, Claudine Gooden, Ed Bianco, Mal Hansen, and Mike Lavardio, and all the coaches. So all of those really donate a lot of their time to help our kids out throughout their sporting career. I attended a meeting that the Florida CFO, Jimmy Petronas, had, and he was in town to discuss liability protections. And what's happening is that as long as a lot of the businesses, they're starting to open up, and their concern from the state is frivolous lawsuits that are coming down the pipeline. So it's a constant threat of lawsuits and increased insurance rates, because what happens is the insurance companies pass the expenditures on to us. And yeah, so so a lot of insurance rates have gone up. Even they're talking about rioting that's going on and looting in other parts of the country that it's affecting, especially if you have a nationwide insurance company. So 3 things that he talked about were that the businesses must do the right thing by employees and customers. So please adhere to CDC rules. Protections must be consistent and simple, and justice should come first, not attorney profits. And it was basically a lot of the frivolous lawsuits that are coming down, that are coming in. So if you go to visit myfloridacfo.com, you'll find all the information on there. We have our new Community Connections issue is out, so please grab a copy of that. It's really great. It's chock full of information. I like it that it's, we may not get it as often, but there's a lot of information in here, and Young at Heart is featured too, so a lot of the things that they have going on. I did tour Inspired Living, so it's the assisted living and memory care facility. Yep, so that one is on Southern and Crestwood. It is beautiful. Ray and I are actually putting our reservations in to get our room.
I think it's a little early for you guys.
You think so? Oh, yeah. That was so sweet. Thanks. Just a bit. Yeah. It is really nice, though, that they have 1 bedroom and suites in there as well. So great facility, a lot of amenities. Thank you very much to the staff for putting up. There are lots of decorative lights throughout the village, and especially if you take that drive through to Commons Park, it looks beautiful. And that actually came out from when we had one of our strategic planning sessions, and it was residents that got together and said, we would like more decorative lights during the holidays. So that's why it's important to come to those meetings, just to see that we listen.
We do listen.
We do. And on a sad note, but happy for her, as a parent of a child that goes to H.L. Johnson, I would like to wish Principal Mikowski all the best. She's retiring at the end of the year. Yeah, she's wonderful. So I wish her all the best, and I know we're going to miss her. And with that, also check out our on our website, because you'll see our schedule for all our parks events, Green Market that's coming up, and happy, healthy holiday and New Year to everybody. Thanks.
The only report I have is that the high school just 40 minutes ago or less than an hour ago announced tentatively that the commencement is going to be held on June 8th. And of course, in theory, it wants to be held at the fairgrounds as normal, but being in COVID, I mean, there were all kinds of disclosures. Of course, the date is subject to change, and it may be virtual again, depending on where we are with the virus, but
when they have that event, it's like people packed on people.
tons of people. So, I mean, that's the hope and aspiration. Hopefully by June, we will be in a much better spot, but
well, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. And the only other thing I'd like to note is to tell everyone, be extra careful on Southern with all the construction near Crestwood, because within the last week I've seen the aftermaths of at least 2 accidents, and one of which looked pretty serious. So I mean, it's a change in the pattern and a lot of the stuff that's going on there, both east and westbound, and heading northbound from Wellington into Royal Palm Beach. So I just hope everyone pays attention, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. The Education Advisory Board met this past Monday. Turns out it was a 2-for-1. We missed the November meeting because of it seems like years ago that we had a storm, but the threat of Tropical Storm Eta was coming down on us, and the village was closed. So we wound up with 2 schools in the showcase: Western Academy Charter School and H.L. Johnson Elementary. And as Selena mentioned, one of the major news items was the retirement of Jennifer Mikowski.
Do you think that 2020 did her in?
I'm sorry?
2020 kind of made it decide this time? No?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right.
So we, of course, we did the Ed Board, and all of the representatives there from the school board and from the school district thanked her for her service. She had been principal of H.L. Johnson for about 5 years.
Yeah.
That time flies.
Yeah.
Prior to that, for 3 years, she was the assistant principal at Royal Palm Beach High School. So she's been doing great work for Royal Palm Beach schools for a number of years. She's got a total of 22 years of experience as an educator, and those are definitely going to be difficult shoes to fill. But in that endeavor, the interviews for a new principal begins tomorrow, so we'll get on with that. On another note, talk about time flying, Royal Palm Beach High School is going to be 25 years old next year.
Wow.
And so Principal Armas has put together a committee to plan events throughout the entire year, and I think that's something really that all of us look forward to celebrating with the school and the staff and the teachers and the students and parents. It's going to be a good thing.
You know, it's interesting. The Education Advisory Board was put together for that purpose.
To get a high school
Get
here.
a high school here in the village.
Yep. And it worked.
Yeah,
might
it's still there.
have been a little ugly,
Still
but
there. No, it's still there.
it worked, and it's something worthwhile celebrating, that's for sure. It's a 25 years. Feeding South Florida continues every Wednesday, and I'll tell you, there's no shortage of lines. Wind up with more than 700 of those vouchers given out every single
week.
Wednesday, and it turns out that we got a little national exposure as a result of the NBC News crew that showed up very early one morning, and they did 3 live pieces right there.
That's
and,
nice.
And I could hear them talking. I think we saw one of the YouTube videos of one of the pieces they did, and one of the points they were making was there is such a significant need for food, not just in this area, but throughout the country. And this was just one example of it, and one of the ways that need is being met. But they talked about the fact that it was cold here in South Florida. It was about 48 degrees that morning. And when people come as early as 5 o'clock in the morning, they line up their
How do they
cars.
stay warm?
They don't leave them running. And so, being good reporters, they actually did interviews of people wrapped in blankets to kind of demonstrate the
Here in South
extreme
Florida.
heat and in South Florida,
Yeah.
right? So, and it was cold that morning.
Yeah.
It really was. But it is clear that hopefully we see a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine. But we don't know how long that is. And I see this going on for quite a while. The need is going to be there. Hopefully, I know that we've heard through the end of January, Feeding South Florida is going to continue to work with the village in providing food. And I saw an article in the paper today. Publix is actually contributing to
1.3
Feeding
million.
South Florida as one of
Yeah.
several, and some 340,000 pounds of food.
And hopefully other developments might happen where they can continue the program at least. A little bit longer.
Hopefully,
But,
and one of them would be nice to see Congress actually.
well, that would be one of the things that might
Just-
help.
Just
yeah.
saying, and hopefully that'll happen. One other possibility too, of course, is individuals contributing to Feeding South Florida, which you can do by going to
Oh, good point.
feedingsouthflorida.org/donate-now. So you can indeed do that, and so it's a great organization. They do great work, and I do want to thank the Parks and Rec staff
And all of the volunteers.
and the volunteers.
Yeah.
The Parks and Rec staff set up the whole infrastructure every Wednesday, and it's no small undertaking. And the volunteers are doing things that are remarkable to help neighbors. It's fantastic. Last thing I want to do is congratulate you on being elected chair of Transportation Planning Agency. I also wanted to announce that I am now chair of the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council.
Congratulations.
Now,
Okay.
with all that power,
Yeah, we gotta
there
get
isn't
something
any
done,
power.
right?
I just, whatever that is, it's. In any case, there may be some opportunities to tap into some of those organizations that get a little more insight into some of the ongoing activities that really do impact us either directly or indirectly here.
That staff has some skill sets and expertise that we may have to tap into. Because one of the issues I think we're facing in this whole transportation issue is the right levels of experience and background to have a different vision, which is a little different than what we've had before. So there may be something that we maybe should be talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that completes my report.
Thank you. Jan.
Good evening, everyone. Piggybacking on Feed South Florida, there's a couple of other resources too if people are really struggling with either rent assistance or utility assistance. And there's several nonprofits that are providing these services across the county, but the easiest way to find resources is to go to needhelppayingbills.com, and they will help vet which organization you should go to. And then the phone number is 561-845-4644. And then I want to congratulate Healthy Partners who moved into the medical office buildings on Royal Palm Beach Boulevard in Okeechobee. It is occupied.
Actually, really?
Yeah,
happened?
they did a
Wow.
ribbon cutting last week, I think. And they are focused on bringing together health plans, physicians, and patients, mostly seniors, to improve the health and wellness through Medicare Advantage and value-based care. I don't really know what that means, but that's the lingo that they're using, and so they're actually doing a great thing for our seniors, so that's great. And then just a happy holiday to everybody, and hopefully we have a prosperous and healthy 2021,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't look like this in 2020. Okay. That's it.
I agree
Thank
with
you.
that. Mr. Liggett?
Yes, I have one thing. This is the last meeting of the year for 2020. I think everybody's looking forward to 2021. Our first meeting in January is the 21st. But before our first meeting in January is an event that we co-sponsor that will be on Monday, January 18th, and that's Dr. Martin Luther King celebration. It's the CAFSI's 19th annual celebration. I did just get the flyer from them today, and it'll be minimal attendance at the cultural center. They will be having a ticketed type event where you have to have a ticket in advance to get there, and so they can keep the number to the right number. But they are doing it virtually, so they will be live streaming They will be live streaming it starting at 10 a.m.
Okay.
on January 18th.
Good.
So that's all I have, Mayor, and everybody have a happy New Year.
Keith, what you got for us?
Just wishes for a happy holiday and getting through the rest of 2020 and working with everybody next year.
Okay.
Thank you.
We got to see how we navigate through the vaccine zone.
Indeed.
Okay, so that concludes our reports at this time. I don't believe it. Is there anyone here who has a petition? No petitions? I am closing the floor to petitions. And Diane, do we have any advance requests from the public on non-agenda items?
No comments.
All right, and we have no one here, I think, to present. So I'm closing public comment on non-agenda items. Do we have any advance requests from the public on consent agenda items?
No, Mayor.
Okay. I don't see anyone here who wants to talk about, from the public about consent agenda items. So with that, I'm closing public comment on consent agenda items. And Diane, if you can give us a consent agenda.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Number 1, approval of the minutes of the council regular meeting of November 19th, 2020. 2, approval and authorization to purchase 4 vehicles from Duval Ford in an amount not to exceed $144,938 by piggybacking the Florida Sheriff's Association Light Vehicle Contract FSA 20-VEL 28.0 Heavy Equipment and Trucks FSA 20-VEH 18.0. 3, approval of bid award and authorization for the village manager to enter into agreement with Professional Concessions Incorporated, the sole responsible proposer, to provide alcoholic beverage sales in Commons Park. 4, approval and authorization for the village manager to execute the first addendum to the professional service agreement for urban forestry services in order to extend the agreement for the first renewal period ending January 1st, 2022. 5, approval of a special event permit for the Village of Royal Palm Beach to hold concert and movie night and gourmet truck expos at Royal Palm Beach Commons Park every Friday night beginning January 2021 through April 2021 from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And 6, approval and authorization in accordance with established policy to make a budget amendment for Fund 303 in the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Said amendment to transfer a total of $36,000 from equipment replacement PW2001 to Okeechobee Boulevard lighting replacement PW2108.
Okay. Well, let's hear any questions or comments from members on council. I'll look for a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have no opposed. Diane, please let the record show that the consent agenda was approved 5-0.
Yes, Mayor, I will.
Now, our regular agenda item is a public hearing for a second reading, and adoption of ordinance number 1009, amending chapter 24, utilities at section 24-27, authority for service charges, in order to add language allowing exemption from the imposition of stormwater utility fee, providing that each and every other section of the subsection of chapter 24, utilities shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing conflicts clause, severability clause, and authority to codify, providing the effective date for other purposes. Ready?
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, this is a minor modification to our stormwater utility, and it is to recognize any potential customers that we thought we had out there that should be charged in accordance with the ordinance. And if there's other reasons, exemptions out there under state law why they shouldn't be, this gives us the ability to not charge them. Otherwise, we would have a conflict between this and another rule that may exist. So with that, turn it back over to the Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the public on agenda item R1?
No comments.
All right. I see no one here. She's shaking her head no. Who wants to make comments on public comments on agenda item R1? So I'm going to close public comments for agenda item R1. Take comments from members on council. Given that this is our second reading, if there are no questions or comments, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve regular agenda item R1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have no opposed. Diane, please let the record show that second reading on agenda item R1 was approved 5-0.
Yes, Mayor, I will.
And I think that concludes our business this evening. I wanted to just wish everyone a safe and blessed holiday season, whatever it is you're celebrating. Be blessed and be safe. And let's not, to not only the council, but to the public out there, let's not let our guard down now. We are entering a new zone, a new phase, if you will, hopefully the last phase of this COVID-19 situation. And persevere, hang in there. It'll be some time before everyone of the population across this country gets vaccinated. But it's just a matter of moving forward and just making sure we continue to take the safety measures that we've been taking to stay healthy. So with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.